Welcome to GNT Geek Nerd Tech. Today, we have Apple might buy Jay-Z's Tidal, Tesla might have a few lawsuits, Star Wars and Star Trek are incorporating virtual reality. We got a lot of great stuff. Let's get it.
You are tuned in to Black Hollywood Live's Geek Nerd Tech.
Yes, sir. Welcome to Geek Nerd Tech, the show where we break down geek and nerd info from a black and brown perspective. I have today one of my good brothers, Dedrick from 133 Art.
What's up?
Welcome, my man.
Thank you for having me, man. I appreciate being here today.
Absolutely, man. Got Tupac in the background, man. Are you a Tupac fan?
I'm a Tupac fan, man. I love Tupac, man.
Yes,
that's like one of my favorite albums of all time.
Man, classic.
It's
100, man. Man, I miss having his energy and presence in hip hop, you know, like, yeah, especially in this day, like everything seems so like plastic and watered down. He brought a lot of soul and flavor to it. You feel me?
Well, man, that's what I really love about him, man. He had that type of charisma that you know you can't learn, you can't teach that, man. That's something that you
natural.
Yeah, man. He was born with it, and I think music today, even from the real lyricists, they still lack that charisma,
man, that
Pac had. So
absolutely, man. Yes, sir. Tupac forever. Well, speaking of music, man, Spotify and Apple are staring each other down. Like it's warfare right now. Right. Do you have a subscription to a music streaming service?
I'm an avid Spotify user.
Oh, slow down. Looks like we're gonna have a showdown today. I'm Apple Music, bruh.
Avid Spotify, man.
Tell me why.
Man, Spotify, for the price that they offer, man, and just the amount of music content that you get, you just can't beat that anywhere, man. They've kind of replaced the need to buy CDs and records and so on and so forth. So, you know, just for me as someone who loves music and likes to have access to it at all times without having to carry around CDs or, you know, big heavy MP3 players or something like that, you know, it just works for me.
Absolutely. Well, what's going on with Spotify and Apple is obviously they're both trying to take control over the market share of music streaming, and Apple obviously has a shitload of money to be able to throw in terms of advertising and stuff, and so they want to be able to limit what Spotify can do, especially when they're using iOS as a platform. Right. And Spotify is saying, well, if you're finna do that to us and make it difficult for people to download or upgrade the app, then we're gonna make it difficult for you in terms of making money. Right. And so we'll take off some of the auto renew features that people can do in the iOS. Right. And so they're kind of like using all these strategies and techniques to try to like bend each other's will, and so I think that's kind of interesting. Who do you think is going to win the showdown?
Man, Apple, definitely, man. Apple's a larger corporation. You know, they're following, man. Apple is not just a company, it's a movement,
man.
You know what I mean? I mean, you got Apple TV, Apple phones, Apple everything.
You ain't got one?
I don't. Man, come on, man. But yeah, man, Apple definitely.
Man, okay, I completely agree. I mean, when you talk about long ball, Apple has way more reserves in terms of their financial backing. Like Spotify, I think is great, but I think personally the offering as a platform, I think Apple has done a better job curating and a better job presenting the music. And I think it's in terms of the marketing that they're able to do. I think that's why Spotify is going to lose, even if they whatever they try. I think Apple can adapt and essentially corral whatever they're doing.
They definitely have a larger pool of resources, 100. Definitely, and it kind of ties into one of the topics we're gonna get into later in the show about them purchasing Tidal.
Man, let's run it. So Apple has strong interest in buying Jay-Z's Tidal. If you haven't heard the news, and I think that is huge because Jay-Z Tidal, I mean, they're giving exclusives. You have all the Beyonce stuff, all the Jay-Z stuff, especially he just rocked the anniversary for Reasonable Doubt. Like all these great exclusives that you're able to experience and listen to and watch on Tidal. Apple wants to be able to present that to its audience. So it's like, hey, let me try to get in business with you and buy you out. So what do you think about that?
And that's going to make it that much more attractive, man, because you know, Spotify just does not have access to that. And right now, I mean, if you look at what's going on in the music world, especially in our culture, Beyonce is running it. So man, the Beehive, they have a voice. Yeah, they have a large voice in it, and I think that in itself could be the tipping point for Apple.
So do you think, two things I want to know, do you think it's selling out if Jay-Z allows that to happen or makes that deal? Number one, that's the first question. And two, do you think that Tidal could survive without being bought out by a Spotify or Apple or whatever? Do you think that they eventually can evolve to be a competitor on the same level as Spotify and Apple?
Well, as much as I would like to see Jay-Z continue with Tidal and just continue to grow, I don't think he can survive that war. And I think he's looking at the long game versus just what's going on now. As far as selling out, I don't know. I mean, that's kind of a tough one. I mean, I'm not sitting in the boardroom with Jay-Z, so I don't know exactly what he has planned next. Right. So this may be a launching board for something else that he has planned.
Absolutely.
So is it selling out?
Yeah, I mean, I framed the question, but I definitely wouldn't say it's selling out. Knowing what I know about Jay-Z, he's very strategic. He's a great businessman. He does have long vision, and I think if he is considering doing that deal with Apple, it's because he already has a few ducks down the road.
Yeah, something else going on
in the row. So
exactly.
But I think it's interesting if Apple does buy Tidal. Spotify, you could pretty much say good night.
Yeah, Spotify's done. I mean, honestly, I've been thinking about switching the Tidal anyway. Seriously, just because I do like those exclusives. I mean, I'm not a part of the Beehive, but I got mad respect for Beyonce, man, and anytime I can support that movement, man, I definitely want to throw my dollars that way.
Yes, sir, man. Did you get a chance to see the stuff from Reasonable Doubt anniversary?
No, I haven't.
Oh man, you got to peep it. You got to talk about that offline once you peep it. Anyway, it was really dope. I loved it. And yeah, man, I hope that Jay-Z, I know whatever Jay-Z does with Tidal is going to be expansive and explosive.
Absolutely.
And we talked about Tidal from the beginning before he launched it, and we've always had conversations, me and Joe, about my co-hosts, about whether or not Tidal would be successful. And it's crazy that in this marketplace they're still able to make news and have exclusives and like create culture. That's what they're doing. They're creating culture, and in a way that's purely unique and different from its competitors. And I think that's why it's valuable.
Well, I think Tidal has a different audience than Spotify. I mean, Tidal is more for the hip hop culture, I think, and I think we kind of lean toward that because of the exclusives, because of Beyonce, because of Reasonable Doubt, because of the Drakes, and so on and so forth. It's just going to push us toward Tidal more.
100, man. Hey, there it is, man. You heard it first. We'll definitely be following that story and update and give our perspective on it, see what Jay-Z decides to do with it. So coming up next, what if, man, I know you don't have an iPhone, but it's okay, but we could talk theory. What if Apple ditches the headphone jack?
All right, let's clear up a little bit. I did have an iPhone, man. I just kind of pushed away from the iPhone itself, just because, as a businessman, I use the Samsung, and it just does more. Samsung Galaxy.
What is that?
I mean, just having that pen, being able to sign documents, so on and so forth is great. But I mean, I love Apple products. I have Apple everything else, and it's crazy.
Okay, let me run it this way. So, what if Samsung Galaxy say, you know what, no more headphone jack? Do you think, let me just give the context. So, we're in an era where Bluetooth technology is kind of expansive and kind of like, the norm now. And I think one thing that Apple does is like they change the means of how we transfer information. Exactly. So they could create a new product, and that kind of becomes the cultural thing at the time. So now the question is, hey, well, why don't we created the Thunderbolt, why don't we create something else that doesn't require us plugging anything in? Like we use the Bluetooth technology to be able to, hear our music and hear whatever, a phone call or whatever. Do you think that is something that will be easily adaptable, or do you think that's going to kind of cause some friction and people want to be able to plug up?
Well, I think there's a short game and a long game there. I think short game is going to be some friction. Change is always painful. But long game, that's where everything is going. With Bluetooth with our car, we have Bluetooth watch, Bluetooth everything. Me personally, I'm kind of like a dinosaur in the sense that I like to plug in, man. Bluetooth headphones, I lose them too much.
Really?
So yeah. That's why I don't rock them. So I prefer to plug in, but that's the way the world's going.
But not just headphones though. What happens if you got like the tabletop joint? What happens if like you said in your whip? Like it's almost like. Well, but I get what you're saying. Like
and you gotta look at it like this too. Samsung kind of changed the game with wireless charging. You can put your phone onto a charger and that's it. So wireless is definitely the long game. I think short game is gonna it's gonna be uncomfortable
for sure.
People are gonna be used to that. Yeah. But long game, everything is gonna be Bluetooth. Everything.
Yeah.
The biggest problem for me also is having another device to charge. I'm gonna have to charge headphones. I'm gonna have to charge my watch. I'm gonna have to charge
But
my phone.
Is that really a hassle? At the end of the day, is it really a hassle? It'd be like just plug up your headphones.
It is a hassle. You got to remember to charge all that stuff. I mean, I got the telephone watch, and half the time I can't wear it because I forget to charge it.
Got you.
You know, it's tedious, and you got phone jacks in your car. You know what I'm saying? You only have room for so much stuff to charge.
That's a good point, man. That's a very good point. Like, I mean, as it stands, if you had Bluetooth headphones, you would have to charge your phone. You have to charge the watch. You said you have to charge the headphones.
Right.
If you had a tablet, you have to charge the tablet.
Charge the tablet.
Like, you're already charging four things.
Four things already.
I mean, how many power strips are you gonna have to invest in? You know what I'm saying?
Right, man. So I mean, at the point, you know, at that point, we're giving all the money back to the electric company, man. I'm just saying, man. We be charging our cars. I mean, where does it stop?
No, I feel it, man. I feel it. Are you hip to Bezos and Amazon and what he was trying to do with drones and using Amazon to be able to, I mean, having Amazon be able to use drones to ship products to your crib? You buy something on Amazon, and instead of someone showing up traditionally at your doorstep, hey, it's a drone that flies in and drops your package. Are you hip to that?
Man, I heard about that, man. I kind of read up a little bit on it. I'm not feeling that.
You're not? Whoa! I'm not surprised.
I'm not feeling that.
Like, run it. Why aren't you feeling that?
I'm not feeling that, man. You sending drones to my house, man. You know what I'm saying? You sending drones to my house. I mean, it all sounds good in technology, but you know, it's costing people jobs. You know what I mean? I mean, it takes away that human interaction. You know, I mean, I get deliveries all the time, man, and you know, I have a personal relationship with the person who comes and delivers, so he knows, hey, if I'm not home, you know, he needs to drop it here and do that. You know, so that relationship aspect of it gives me better service as a consumer. Now I think coming from the company standpoint, oh, that works, man. It's efficient. You know, they're cutting out a salary. You know, they're cutting somebody off payroll, so that's gonna work for them. But me as an end user, as a customer, you know, I prefer that human interaction, that personal relationship, because you know, my guy knows, hey, if he's not home, then I need to put his package around the side.
You know what I mean? I got you. Well, I mean, I think in greater context, you know, this theory of drones being able to deliver goods to consumers, I think has always caused kind of like an uproar as it relates to the legalities of that and like the safety of that. And so, do you think? I mean, yeah, you have your personal preference in terms of how you engage with, you know, with the personnel that delivers the packaging, but do you think that this is something that will be legal and widespread, or do you think that it will always have its inherent challenges because of safety issues in terms of it maybe a drone falling somewhere and killing someone, or maybe a drone getting in the wrong hands of someone, or whatever, you know?
I think it will be legal at some point. Like I said, that's just the way the world is going. You know, I mean, 50 years ago, what were we doing? You know, who would have thought we would have phones in cars and, you know, being able to do all of the stuff that we can with technology. But I think at some point it will be legal. You know, we're just going to run the problem of, you know, people intercepting drones, intercepting packages, you know, because with a human, you don't have the error. He knows he's supposed to go to an address and he gets it there. A drone, you know, somebody can just intercept it.
Yeah, that's very true.
So will it be legal? Yes.
I mean, that's the thing. It's drone delivery is coming to Washington, D.C. this year, September, in the fall. It's happening.
Yeah,
right?
it's happening. Definitely.
And I think it's happening in this one city. It's going to happen all over the country, if not the world.
Yes.
That's going to be the new way of new delivery method in terms of how we get stuff.
Right.
I mean, I kind of agree with you. I like the personal touch. I like being able to, you know that a human is delivering, and like, yeah, you're right. You do have a kind of relationship. I do have a relationship with the UPS guy that comes. He's come a number of times, and like, it's like we had that rapport. It does strip away from that, and it does take away, you know, the opportunity for him or someone like him to feed his family. I get that. And so I kind of agree with you, and more so, I think the safety issues is what I'm worried about, like, because all technology, there's no technology that's foolproof. There's something that's going to mess up.
Right.
And there's going to be people that want to manipulate that, take advantage of that, and use that for a negative purpose. You know what I'm saying? So,
right. Not just that. You look at it. You know, I live not too far from the school, and I have kids passing in front of my house all the time. What happens when that drone comes to my house and kids are walking in front of my driveway and that drone hits a kid? Like, seriously.
Or a kid throws a rock at it.
Kids are going to antagonize.
Exactly.
It's going to happen.
It's natural.
It's going to happen.
I bet you I can throw the rock and hit it first.
Bet you I can knock it down.
Exactly.
So I mean, it's just going to be a lot involved. You know, I'm very interested to see how that goes in D.C., especially being a heavily densely populated area. You know, like, it's crazy in D.C.
Man.
It's crazy in D.C. So to have drones just flying all over the place,
man.
I mean, think about that.
That's the world we're gonna live in, though.
Think about that, man.
It's gonna be crazy, man. Well, yeah, man. that's something that I guess we'll definitely see in our lifetime. So. Well, this is a great company called Loot Crate. And with Loot Crate, you get collectibles, apparel, and more from your favorite pop culture franchises delivered right to your door every single month. Have you heard of Loot Crate?
Yes, I have.
Yes, sir. We're talking about a new t-shirt in every crate, figures, comics, and stuff for your kitchen, a wide range of exclusive items you can't get anywhere else, from fan favorite franchises like Harry Potter, Marvel Comics, Fallout 4, Star Wars, and a whole lot more. And you can get all of this for less than $20 a month. Loot Crate, come geek out with us. Are you subscribed to Loot Crate?
Yes, I am, man.
Holy smokes.
And they are still using people to deliver my stuff. They're not using drones yet. No drones yet. So yeah,
well, yeah,
definitely.
Loot Crate is a monthly subscription box service for epic geek and gamer items and pop culture gear. For less than $20 a month, you can get 68 items that include licensed gear, apparel, collectibles, and a unique one-of-a-kind items and more. You have until the 19th at 9 p.m. Pacific time to subscribe and receive this month's crate. And when that cuts off, that's it. It's over. It's done. You can't get it. So make sure to head over to lootcrate.com/GNT and enter the code GNT to save $3 on any new subscription. That's lootcrate.com/GNT. Enter the code GNT and you can save $3 on any new subscription. Join us as we celebrate the futuristic. We're packing July's crate with items from some of pop culture's favorite items of science in the future. Looking towards tomorrow with items from Rick and Morty, Futurama, Star Trek, Mega Man, Valiant Comics, and Star Trek, including a model, a figure, and don't forget our monthly tee and pin. Loot Crate is the business.
Yeah, man. Now's the time to get into it too. You know, especially with pop culture being so big with all these Marvel and DC movies, man. There's a lot of collectibles that you're not gonna be able to get once they're gone. So
yes, sir, man.
Now's the time.
Get your loot up.
Loot up.
So, man, let me ask you this. Like, just give me a quick fact sheet in terms of let me just ask you social media. What platforms do you use?
Social media, Facebook, and Twitter primarily.
Okay.
Facebook and Twitter.
Are you? How do you consume your media? I know we talked about your music, your Spotify, Team Spotify. What about how do you consume your television? Are you using a streaming service? Are you still cable? What are you doing?
Well,
with that?
I do have cable at the house, man, but I really don't have the time to dedicate to sit down and watch it. So when I want to watch a show, man, I'm on my iPad.
Okay.
I'm on my iPad watching shows, streaming. Definitely Netflix.
Okay. So,
Hulu. You know, I do HBO Go.
Yes, sir.
So.
Well, I asked that, my man, because Netflix might be offering offline viewing, which I think is incredibly dope.
That's incredible.
I mean, as you know, if you want to stream something, you have to be connected to, the internet. And so they're saying hey, you could put into your queue shows that you want to watch later. And you don't have to worry. You could be anywhere in the mountains. You could be on a train, subway, wherever, and you still have access to your favorite shows to be able to watch them.
Man, they got that idea from Spotify actually, because
Stop it.
Spotify, you can download your playlist.
You're right.
And listen to it offline.
You're right.
So that's the idea that they kind of got from Spotify. I'm with that. I'm all the way with that.
Yes, sir. I'm with it too. However, when I analyze my viewing habits, I don't know. For me personally, most times when I'm watching television, I have the internet. Right. I can't pinpoint a time where I want to watch a show and I don't have access. Is that the same for you, or is it the opposite?
Well, I mean, you got to think about it like this too. You got people that camp. People that do a lot of outdoor stuff and go places where there isn't any type of internet service.
If they're camping, they should leave their devices at home and be in the outdoors.
Come on, man. New age campers, man. You
can't call them campers, but anyway.
Glampers. You know what I'm saying? And then I have a 14-year-old son, so he's always moving. He's always doing something, and that's gonna save us on data. On our data plan, he always has one of his devices, man. His phone, his tablet.
Yes,
so
sir.
And he's an avid Netflix user. So it's just gonna save.
Yes, sir. Do you think that this is going to give Netflix a huge advantage over its competitors, like you mentioned, Hulu, the HBOs of the world, the YouTube Reds of the world, the people that even Amazon, the people that are trying to, or even looking future, Facebook, people that are trying to break into the streaming world and offering a an array of content for its consumers, you think this is going to give them even more of an advantage?
Absolutely, man. Netflix is the Apple of streaming services. You know, they set the trend for everything. You know, I mean, when we think about when streaming services first started, it was Netflix. You know, they were the front runner,
the pioneers.
The pioneers. They're the pioneers, man. And you know, with Netflix, you know, moving into the realm of having its own series, the way they release series,
game changing.
It's game changing. Absolutely. And
they created a new culture.
A new culture.
Of how we consume, how we watch. I mean, whenever did we have the lexicon of binge watching? That's because of Netflix, you know.
Right, it's because of Netflix. It's definitely because of Netflix. So I think this is definitely going to change the game as far as streaming services, and it's going to make everybody have to step up. Everybody's gonna have to step your game up, homie. It's coming, definitely. So, like, I have Hulu, but you know, just the way I watch, you know, I find myself on Netflix.
Yes, sir.
Because I binge watch.
Agreed. So after the show, make sure you give me your account so I can just
trying to siphon off of my account. It's all good. It's all good.
No, I'm just playing, man. Man, this is an interesting story. It's a remarkable technology that's actually bringing the deaf and hearing worlds together. Mm-hmm. It's called a video relay service, where if someone that is deaf can essentially sign language into this AI interface. The AI interface will take that sign language and communicate it audibly to, say, a waitress in a restaurant.
Right.
That waitress will respond back to the AI technology. The AI technology will then show the person that's deaf sign language, so they're able to communicate, and it does it in real time, and it's seamless. I think this is amazing. Man,
that is beyond amazing, man. It just you know, as a human race, man, it gives us the ability to greater communicate with one another, man. It bridges a gap that was closed, you know, because, you know, if I see somebody who has a hearing disability, I just don't have the ability to communicate with them because I don't speak that language.
Of course.
And having technology like this, man, just, you know, being able to open that door, it's amazing, man.
That's dope.
That's dope, you know. I mean, that's just like you know, on your smartphones, you have the ability to translate. You know,
exactly.
Not many people use it, or I don't know if a lot of people do use it.
When you're out the country, it's the perfect opportunity to use it. I've used it when I'm out the country. I went to China and used that joint, and it works.
So just imagine that being expanded. You know what I mean? That's amazing.
Absolutely. The opportunities of usage, like, I mean, I kind of gave the example of going into a restaurant and ordering food and being able to communicate with your waiter or waitress, but I mean, you could use it in the legal sense. Like, you use it in any industry. Like, there could be this new way of conversation and communication with this middleman, you know, to be able to facilitate, you know, the different ways of expressing, through body, through language, through body language, through, you know, oral language. Like, I think that's awesome,
man. And then it gives people who do have hearing disabilities or are deaf, you know, it makes them more independent.
Right.
You know, it gives them the freedom to travel about this world and need less help from actual people, you know. You can be independent, man, and that in itself is just amazing. Yeah. Absolutely amazing.
It's dope technology.
Yes,
I love covering stories like this where we have actual technology that's positive, that is really, really solving a problem or helping to facilitate, you know, just a person's optimal performance and greatness and potential. Right. I think this definitely does that.
So what does that do? Like, I mean, even as far as jobs, you know what I mean? It gives them the ability to. It opens up a entire new avenue as far as jobs.
Everything.
I mean, everything. So
yeah, not just socially, but like, professionally.
Right.
That's huge.
That's
because
huge.
you might have all because you're deaf doesn't mean that you're dumb. You know, like, and to be able to say, like, well, I can't communicate with you, but I'm a genius.
Right.
I'm a genius, and I could solve some of these problems, or I could offer creative solutions. And now I have the tool to be able to communicate them to you because you don't communicate the same way I communicate.
Learning. It puts kids into a classroom with you know, just kids that can't hear, you know what I mean? So it changes the game on so many different levels, man. So many different levels. It just connects us more as a people.
There it is, man. Yo, it's awesome. It's awesome. Are you just shifting gears? Are you a fan of the Tesla?
Oh man.
Okay, fine. I ain't gonna hook you up. I ain't gonna hook you up. I gotta. You over here hesitate, man. You ain't whipping a Tesla, bro.
All right. Check it out. I love what the Tesla represents. I love where it's going. I'm not a fan of that price tag. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, come on, you got to expand upon that. Versus, like, what? So you buy you a nice Benz, like, or you buy you whatever, like, you're gonna be paying close to that.
Yeah, I feel you, man. But I just think what it offers as far as just affordable energy. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I would like to see that be able to just be available to more people.
But they have that. They have the new Tesla dropping actually in 2017, which the price tag is only $30,000. You're able to put 1,000 right now to pre-order, and I mean that's the.
And in 2017, I'll be a bigger fan.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So that's what's up.
Well, as you know, Tesla has this really dope feature called the Autopilot, where you're able to kind of sit back, relax, and let the car do the heavy lifting and driving.
I've seen the YouTube videos.
And there has been a fatal accident with the Autopilot. Do you think that this will diminish Tesla's ability to expand as a brand? Do you think this will derail this type of technology to becoming ubiquitous in the sense that, we have self-driving cars? That's what I want your thoughts on.
I think this is a small bump in the road. I know that they're still in the beta phases as far as they're developing that particular technology. I think they have a lot more work to do, and I mean, me personally, I don't think they should use humans right now inside the car.
For the testing?
Yeah, for the testing, I mean, all the video clips that I've actually seen on it, it's humans in the car and they have the ability, to make adjustments as needed.
Right.
But I just don't think that technology, and I mean, it disproves it. I just don't see where they should be.
Does it disprove it? I mean, because you got to think, like, there's always going to be some type of error. There's always human error. There's tons of accidents every day, all over the world. Does that mean humans shouldn't drive? I mean, I'm serious. Like,
right.
I mean, the computer is going to malfunction. That's going to happen. Does it happen once every 1,000,000 times, or like does that mean that we don't perfect it or make it better, or we try to we create laws against it? Like,
nah, I definitely want to. I don't think we should create laws against it, but at the same time, I think that it's still in the development phases, and for it to be having these kind of problems early, I think they need to do just a little bit more work on it before they actually put it out and it's like standard in cars or it's available to everybody. I agree. It's kind of like the same concept with flying cars. You know what I mean? Do you want flying cars in the air right now?
I do.
I do, but not right now.
Right.
Not right now. So
no, we talk about this all the time on the show, man, in terms of self-driving cars and just machines having more autonomy in our lives and culture, and that becoming more of a norm than not. And I mean, I think that eventually it's going to happen. Machines will. I mean, we're connected to everything. Machines are connected to all aspects of our life, and just in terms of efficiency and productivity, like it would help in terms of maybe traffic. It would help in terms of just you having time to be able to do other things. And so I see the value of it in that sense. But it does scare me in terms of, and I think we just covered this last show, in terms of the machine making an ethical choice. If you have you have to choose between hitting object A or hitting object B, which one do you choose?
Right.
And like, I think that's what I'm interested to see, what the developers are able to do in terms of that, like giving the technology, or giving the AI a sense of morals or ethics. Like, I get it from a calculation perspective, is able to make great calculations and it's precise and all that, and probably can think way faster than the human mind. But can it make a moral choice, Right.
And I mean, it's definitely coming, because you look at it now, we have sensors in cars. I mean,
self-parking cars.
Most of us drive a car that tells us when a car is in our blind spot.
Right.
So that type of technology is already here and it's already available. But just like you said, I mean, what happens if, are you going to hit a pole, or are you going to hit a woman, that's pushing the basket?
Exactly.
I mean, what happens?
Exactly.
So.
Yeah, man. I guess that's something like with the drones. We'll definitely see
it's coming.
This within the next decade for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you gotta think about it like this, man. I remember as a kid, I used to watch old Dick Tracy shows, man. He used to talk into his watch.
Was that in the 40s?
Actually, the show was developed in the 40s, but I still watch it as a kid. All right, but I mean, he used to talk into his watch, man. I walk around with a watch that I'm talking to.
Right.
So that's just saying that technology is definitely coming. It's just how they perfect it. And what they put into it, that's going to determine, whether it's going to stay around, whether it's going to be something I'm going to use personally, or I don't know. So,
okay, I hear you, bruh. Well, as a final note, I would definitely love to get a Tesla, especially when these more cost
effective, more economical Teslas.
Yeah, exactly. Hit the market. I would love to be whipping that, and I don't mind the autopilot. I think that's a cool feature, and I would love to test it just to see. But
so how do you feel about taking a road trip? You're on autopilot. Do you fall asleep while your car is driving?
I think that my comfort level I would have to build a certain rapport or trust, or have more of a knowledgeable understanding as to how the technology works. So I would have to test it in different circumstances before I would feel comfortable going to sleep. Or if I don't know if answering it now with never been in a self-driving car, if I would feel comfortable doing it. I think it would be very risky, and I would feel nervous about it, anxious about it. But
and then for me, I would have to see the reaction time versus, okay, I have this thing on autopilot and I'm driving, and I see a hazard coming. I don't know if my car is going to react.
Exactly.
So how long does it take for the autopilot to stop and for me to gain manual control and be able to stop the vehicle or maneuver?
Right.
So I mean, just all of that plays a part for me. I would have to actually get in one and test it and put it through those type of conditions before I can say I have a certain comfort level with it.
Interesting note though, like when you hop on a plane though, I mean the pilot is only operating the plane, a commercial plane, for like maybe 10 minutes. Most of the flight is done autopilot.
Right.
So what's the difference?
You're absolutely right. The difference is that's been going on for how many decades now?
Precisely.
Right.
Precisely.
So
it is in the air.
So that's my point. You know, that's been going on for decades. You know what I'm saying? So that technology is trusted. It's, then there's not as many planes in the air as there are cars on the road.
True that.
So, I mean, people don't understand, but it's actually safer in a plane
than it is
in a car.
You're absolutely right. You have a better chance of surviving.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Not just that, it's probably a car accident happening right now, but I guarantee it's not very. Yeah, it's like every 11 seconds, but it's not a plane accident.
That's right.
Now, so
that's very true. Well, yeah, man. Moving on to some geek pop stuff, and then after this, I want to get into kind of like 133 art.
133 art,
and which you're building, man,
yes,
which is
sir.
really exciting. But are you a huge, or are you just a Star Wars or Star Trek fan?
Oh man.
Or are you more over the other?
Man, that's a tough question, man. I go through phases with Star Wars and Star Trek, man. Star Trek, I was the next generation,
Okay.
I used to love Captain Picard back in the day, man. Geordi, you know what I'm saying? Back in the day. But that was probably the only series that I watched of it. I wasn't a real Captain Kirk fan, or I wasn't a fan after that.
Got you.
Next generation was my thing. That was kind of my era.
Star Wars,
man. Star Wars, I loved Star Wars up until this last one.
Really?
I didn't like it.
It didn't land for you, huh?
It didn't land for me, man.
Okay.
I didn't like how Finn was portrayed in the movie. It didn't appeal to me at all.
Got you. Well, only bring that up because both franchises are getting into the new medium, virtual reality, and creating content and opportunities for consumers and fans to be able to experience these classic movies and these enormous brands in a different way. So like with Star Trek, you could actually be on the ship and be in the control room and look around and see all the stuff and interface with it and get that experience versus just watching it on a screen or in a theater or in your crib. So like I think that is super cool. That I want to get your thoughts on virtual reality in general, and do you think that franchises like Star Wars and Star Trek should be developing content like this?
Absolutely. Virtual reality is a real thing right now, especially with the Galaxy. They have the goggles.
The what?
The VR goggles.
Okay.
So you hook your phone up to the goggles, man, and you are in New York. You are at Niagara Falls. You are in the Sahara. You know what I mean? Like so them touching into that, giving fans an opportunity to actually be on board of the Enterprise.
Yeah.
Or be on the Death Star. That's crazy.
Super crazy.
That's crazy.
I think that's dope. I think that's super fun.
Yeah. You know what? And just to touch on that, I think that's the way video games are going to be going.
Oh,
very soon.
100%.
100% virtual reality.
I just saw a video the other day where I saw two videos. They had the VR. I don't know which one it was, if it was Oculus or if it was a Samsung or the HTC. Probably not. But an old man had on the goggles and he was like killing zombies or killing some type of demon or whatever. He was going ham, I think it was either his son or his wife that was trying to tell him like calm down, because he was running into stuff and he was just hitting stuff, but he was like completely immersed in the world and he was just tearing them up, man. And there's another one where I guess you have to save a cat from a ledge, and like you were walking on this like ledge and the cat was at the end of the ledge, and if you looked over, it's like you're 100 stories up, and like these the participants were like falling and just feeling super nervous. Like, it's just crazy, like the level of immersion that you're able to experience with the virtual reality, how real it's becoming.
Really,
you know what I'm saying?
It's very real. It's very real, man. You know, I actually went to Best Buy and checked it out, man. It's crazy technology, man. It's crazy technology. You know, you do get the feeling that you are actually doing whatever activity, water skiing or on a boat or whatever. You know, it's crazy, man. And for Star Wars and Star Trek to offer that, yeah, I'm on board.
Man, let's go.
Let's go do that, man. Let's go pilot a fighter jet, man. Why not? You know what I mean? Why not?
No, I feel it, man. Well, that's what's up, man. I mean, just for me as a creator and you know, a developer of content, like I feel like, I don't know, I feel like this is something that I need to get into, just learning how to utilize this technology for, you know, my personal interests and purposes. And I feel like this medium is really going to be explosive in the next few years once the hardware is more economical and affordable, and people can, the average person, like we talk about the Tesla being you know, super high and them giving a more affordable option. I say the same thing with a virtual reality headset. Like, once you have more content, once you have the hardware that's cheap, like, it's going to be explosive. It's going to change the medium of television. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
and filmmaking.
I don't want to sound like a Samsung rep here, but
apologist.
right. But Samsung actually offers that tech now for about $200, man. You can actually get the goggles and just go ham in your house, man. Just go break up everything.
I'd rather just get Google Cardboard, which is way cheaper than that.
Even the Google glasses, that's another thing, man. You know, I'm still waiting on them to really perfect that technology.
Google glasses no more.
They're done.
Yeah, they're done. They out of here. They out of
yeah.
here. It's all good, man. Well, if I see you, man, if I come into your crib and you got the headsets on, because you ain't, I'm like, yo, I ain't heard from Dedrick in 2 weeks. Well, you've been in virtual reality mode, man. I hope that day doesn't come.
Man. Nah, it's not gonna be that bad.
Yes, sir. Well, small business owners, it's time to be honest about how you feel when dealing with your day-to-day admin work. Admit it, you can't stand it. It's a total grind. The truth is, over 5 million small business owners felt exactly the same way until they discovered FreshBooks. FreshBooks is the dead simple cloud accounting software that's transforming how small business owners handle their paperwork. And I think this might be great for you, being that you got your own brand and you're doing big things. Using FreshBooks to create and send an invoice literally takes about 30 seconds. There's no formulas or formatting, just perfectly crafted invoices every time. Your clients can pay you online, which often means you end up getting paid a lot faster, which is obviously good.
Which is obviously
because
definitely what we want.
When I provide a service, I want my money.
Instant gratification.
Exactly. There's a super handy deposit feature you can invoice for payment up front when you're kicking off a project. FreshBooks can even show you whether or not a client has looked at the invoice you've emailed, which I think is pretty cool, because there's been countless times where I've emailed the invoice, oh, we didn't get it, or we'll get to it. No, you get to it faster.
Right. You know what? That's probably an idea they took from Apple.
Hey,
you know,
this is only a fraction of what FreshBooks can do for you. You owe it to yourself to feel the full effect of FreshBooks on you and your small business. For a 30-day free trial, just go to freshbooks.com/geek, GEEK, and enter Geek Nerd Tech in the How Did You Hear About Us section. Once again, that's freshbooks.com/geek, and enter Geek Nerd Tech in the How Did You Hear About Us section. FreshBooks, super fresh, great tool for business owners. I highly recommend it. And yeah, man, dope.
Yeah, man,
very dope.
Man, that's awesome. Just man, just know somebody looked at my invoice.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Oh, I didn't get it. Yes, you did.
Yeah. At least you know what's in process. You know.
Yes, sir.
So, man, like I'm so grateful for your time and you coming on the show. And, you know, love getting your opinions and your insights about technology and what's happening. But I want to get into you, man, and what you're developing with 133 Art. So man, let's get into it, man. What is 133 Art?
Man, 133 Art, man. We are a small indie publishing company, man. We do media, comics, man. You know, just anything pop culture. Right now, you know, we're specifically concentrating on making content that's for a diverse community. You know, too often we pick up comic books and you know, just pop culture and we see the same guy over and over and over. So right now we're really focused on just developing content for everybody, so everybody can relate.
Can feel represented.
Yes, sir.
I completely feel that, because there's definitely a void in that space. And I think, you know, that's awesome that you're doing that. When you say we, kind of like, who is we? Give me your origin story.
Okay, my origin story, man. Me and my friend of almost 20 years now, you know, we started this project back in the late 90s. You know, it was just kind of like a concept back then. You know, us sitting around the living room talking about, you know, just characters. Because, you know, man, I've been reading comics since Wolverine number 258 back in the early 90s. I'm not gonna say 90 what, cause you know, but back in the early 90s, man, you know, and I've been drawing my whole life, and you know, my best friend of 20 years, Jason Reeves, you know, he's been drawing since he was like 4. And, you know, we used to sit back and read comics, and, you know, we never saw us. You know, we saw the same guy over and over. So in 2012, we actually released One Nation, which is our flagship title. And it's a comic book built more for the teen and above crowd.
Nice.
You know, and it has a catalog of diverse characters, man. You know, black. We have a black character. We have an Asian character. We have a Latino character.
Very good.
So you know, we just promoting diversity, man. We just want to make sure everybody feels represented properly.
For sure, absolutely. So 133 Art, not only obviously you develop the product from concept to, you know, execution. So I have it in my hand, right?
We do everything, man. We develop the concepts. We do all of the art. We do all of the writing.
Nice.
We do all of the printing,
wow.
the publishing.
You do all the printing.
We do everything.
Holy smokes!
We are a one-man show. Like, we do everything.
That's what's up, man. So I know we talked offline about, you know, how you've kind of marketed the business and, you know, getting the name out there, getting the product out there. I know you guys go around the country, you know, doing a lot of conventions and whatnot. Like, kind of tell me kind of what some of your moves are in terms of getting more notoriety.
Man, we actually just did something that was really great for the company, man. We did Wizard World Sacramento. Wizard World is one of the two big giants in pop culture. You have Wizard World and you have Comic-Con International. So Wizard World puts on probably about 12 to 15 shows a year.
Yes, sir.
And you know, we were just so blessed to get connected with Wizard World, and, you know, in Sacramento. So we went up there and, you know, just pitched our stuff to them, man. And so, you know, we're gonna be a mainstay with them. You know,
yes,
they kind of picked us up, and that just puts us in front, you know, probably like 100,000 people. You know what I'm saying? Just in terms of exposure and getting our, you know, our name out there, and to be associated with a company like Wizard World is amazing.
Oh, yeah.
But, you know, that's just our foot in the door, man.
Yes,
you know,
sir.
because you know, truth be told, Comic-Con International, you know, that's the big dog on the block.
Right.
You know, so this summer, which is in about 3 weeks, we're going to Comic-Con in San Diego. Yeah,
okay.
yeah. So we don't have an actual platform there this year,
right,
but we're going to have a platform there in 2017.
Yes, sir.
So you know, through Wizard World, you know, we were able to make the proper connections with Comic-Con.
That's dope.
So, you know, we're going to Comic-Con, you know, just to strengthen that relationship in preparation for 2017 Comic-Con, which we're going to make our premiere.
That's awesome. So let me ask you, like, Wizard. I've done Comic-Con a few times. I've never done Wizard World. I've heard about it, but I've never actually been able to participate in person. I've seen content online and stuff like that. But when you were there in Sacramento this last time, did you see a lot of us there? Or do you feel like, you know, we're still kind of underrepresented even at that level?
We're definitely underrepresented, you know, especially with the demographic in Sacramento. You know, so I think the cons and the shows, it depends on the city in which they're held. The only exception to that is Comic-Con, because you have people coming from all over the world to go to Comic-Con. Right. But just as a general rule of thumb, it's just like in January we have the Black Comics Convention that's being held in San Francisco that we're going to make, and we also have one in New York. So there's one in Philly that we're going to do next year.
Nice.
So you know, it all depends on the demographic of the city that you're in. You know, how much representation we get there from a consumer standpoint.
Right.
As far as material, we don't get much representation. As far as material, you know, just the black and brown, you know, demographic doesn't get a lot of representation.
Right. Why did you guys feel that this was the best medium to be able to tell stories and be able to connect with, you know, your audience? And not just that, not to stop there, do you have any plans in terms of your future, in terms of developing other mediums of storytelling?
Absolutely. Well, to answer your first question, I mean, because as a kid, you know, we both love comics. You know, we both avid comic readers. You know what I mean? Like it was ridiculous. You know, my mom used to fuss at me, all these books all over.
Super geek.
Yeah, super geeked out. You know, and you know, most of my friends didn't understand it. You know, it's like, you know, dude, you're reading comic books. What is that? You know, come play some football. You know what I'm saying? You know, but you know, we both have a general, you know, a genuine love for comics. So it was easy to do something that we love, and we chose to do that because, you know, your consumers know when you don't have a genuine love for what you do, and we both love it so much. So we put everything we have into that.
Yes, sir.
As far as development, man, we have a kids book coming out in September. Kid Carvers, man.
What's that about?
Kid Carvers is about 2 6-year-old kid geniuses, man. They go through their neighborhood solving crimes using science.
Nice.
Yeah, using their mind. So it's kind of like a
you said you're doing just like a traditional kids book.
It's gonna be a traditional kids book,
That's
man.
awesome.
It's gonna be like Doctor Who meets the Muppets. You know what I mean? Straight up, Doctor Who meets the Muppets, man.
Yes, sir.
So you know, and everything they use, they invent. You know what I mean? You know, they have an antagonist. I don't want to release too much of it right now. But in September, man, definitely look for it. And we're starting it as a online free comic. It's gonna be online free comic, man. So you know, you can go online. You know, kids love iPads. Get the iPad, put it on for the kids. Let them flip through, read the book. Great art, great story.
There it is. So you have a product for the kids.
You have a product
for the teens and up.
For the teens and up. Yes, yes, man. We also we're in talks right now with 1500 Entertainment, which is a production company. So we're looking at maybe doing a cartoon.
Yes, sir.
You know, we're looking at doing a cartoon with Kid Carvers, and we're also looking at doing some webisodes with One Nation.
Nice.
So you know, we got a lot of stuff in the works right now.
Diversity, expansion. You got a lot of things that you breathing life into.
Man, the goal is like Marvel, man. Like seriously, you know that's the end goal, to be able to get to the big screen. You know what I'm saying? To be able to put our product out to people like that. Everybody goes and sees those movies. Everybody has an opportunity, and you know, just think if your son or my son can look at that screen and see themselves, see somebody who looks like them, who's the lead character, who's out front, you know, who plays a big part, not just a sidekick or a standby. You know, that means a lot to the Black and brown community.
Absolutely. So just switching gears, and I'm gonna circle back into you, but kind of like to that point. So what is your assessment of how we are represented currently in movies, in television, in the comics? Like obviously, you know, we got Cooler, you know, being about to direct, you know, Black Panther for next year. Do you think that is a good thing? Do you think that is the starting point? Do you think that we need more? Obviously we need more, but what are your thoughts on that?
It's definitely not a starting point. I mean, because to say that's a starting point, you know, it discredits brothers like Wesley Snipes back in the day, who actually wrote those Blade movies, directed those Blade movies, and acted in them. Right. You know, I think we're still trying to kind of fill out our place in the industry. I don't think we have it yet. You know, I think the major corporations are still very apprehensive about putting us in the forefront for you know, they lag. They think that we won't get the support, you know, to make back the money that they invest into it. But you know, we just got to keep showing up, man.
Absolutely.
And I think putting Black Panther out there, you know, and then subsequently Cyborg, is coming in 2020. Yep. They were talking about putting Tyrese as Green Lantern well. You know, as something else that was kind of in the wind. So, you know, I think they're starting to see that the fan base is growing.
Yes, sir.
It's definitely growing.
Yes, sir.
So,
that's awesome, man. Like I'm a big fan of us being represented, obviously, in media, and us being able to tell our stories in various creative ways. And I applaud you for, you know, having that mindset, you know, having that want to be able to provide that, because I think there's a lot of us that want it, we desire it, we want to consume content that represents us and feels like us and speaks to our sensibilities, and oftentimes it's a void, it's a drought. And so I mean, much applause to you to kind of like, you know, propel that change. And so get into your partner. I know your partner is a kick-ass illustrator. Oh man, this dude, brainiac, and super creative.
This dude's art is the most amazing art I've ever seen in my life. You know, I don't just say that because he's my friend. I've seen him evolve over the years. You know, where he was okay, into what he is now. He's nice. Now he's nice with it. He is a killer with that pen, man. I see this dude sketch out characters in like 20 minutes. You're like, dude, how long it took you? I did that in 20 minutes, and there's nothing to him. You know, but you know, like me, he's been a fan his whole life, man. He's been drawing since he was about 4. You know, we actually went full time with the company in 2012. and to quit your job and to put yourself into that world and say, I'm just going to live off my art. We all have a lot of confidence in him for that, because he's feeding our families. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
So, but yeah, man, he's an amazing guy, man. He's like I said, Jason Reeves, Twitter handle at 133art, Facebook 133art. Man, definitely check us out, man. Check us out, support. You know what I'm saying? Go to the website. We got One Nation. We got Kid Carver's coming in September. We also have a comic called Foo Fighters, man. Foo Fighters was actually the first web comic that was produced by USA Today.
Nice.
So they started doing web comics about 2 years ago, and we got the gig with them, and we put it out. We put out a couple issues, and they released it back to us and said, we appreciate you guys. You guys can have it, run with it. So yeah, that's dope. So yeah, man. So we also have that out on the shelves too, man. So
let me run this by you. Just thinking, like, we look at the social political landscape of today, 2016, and how difficult and challenging it is for a lot of us, meaning black men, young black boys, how we navigate, the avenues of America as it relates to policing, as it relates to finding a job, as it relates to having positive role models, mentors. Like when you look at that perspective or that as kind of like a challenge for us, how are you using your art? How are you using your platform to address that?
That's a great question. I mean, if you look at the first 2 issues of our comic, man, it's actually set back in 1991 during Desert Storm. And our character goes to Desert Storm. He experiences some things or whatever. He deals with some things as a kid as well. Which is I don't want to get too much into the story, but he lives in L.A. during that time period. And so our book touches on what was going on in L.A. in the early '90s as a black superhero. How do you use your powers to deal with that? What do you do? You know what I mean? So it kind of touches on that culturally as well. So I mean, man,
why aren't there black superheroes?
Because that particular crowd doesn't support it. Like really, I just had a friend of mine. He was writing for Cyborg, which is a black superhero. It didn't get support. It just doesn't support it. And I think that Marvel, DC, Dark Horse, all of the big boys, they're kind of afraid to put that out there. For it won't get the support that they.
And the further my question, why aren't there very many black superhero women?
Man, that's an even deeper question. I mean, if you look at what's going on television, CW is actually trying to bring one, Vixen. They're trying to bring Vixen to the television, but they're just afraid. They're afraid that we won't come out and support it.
Right.
So.
Okay, man, I love the takes, man. I love what you're doing, man. The last question, because this is a show about technology.
Right.
How are you using technology now, 2016, thinking, we just talked about virtual reality, we just talked about all sorts of stuff. How are you using the tools that we have access to, the tools that are being developed, the new mediums that are being developed as it relates to how you create, how you market yourself, how you're building your brand? Man,
we're actually we have a phone app. We have a phone app that's coming out. It's still in the beta stages, but we have a phone app for that features our superhero as a fighter.
Nice.
So it's kind of like Street Fighter meets One Nation.
Nice.
You know what I mean? So that's going to be an app, because we know that people they love technology. Also, we're on Comixology, which is an app. So, right. If you're looking for my content, you can go to Comixology, One Nation, we're there, because people do everything with apps. They're always on their phone, they're always on their tablets.
Absolutely.
That's just what we do.
Yes, sir.
So we do as people. Yes, sir.
Well, yo, man, tell the people where they could find you, 133art. Like, how can they, look you up and learn more about you and further support you? Man,
133art.com, man. That's my homepage. It has everything 133, One Nation, Kid Carvers, Foo Fighters. We're also developing toys. We got just a little bit of everything going on. So you want anything One Nation, 133art, 133art.com. Funny story about how we got that name. People always ask me, what does 133art mean?
Right.
Well, when Jason was signing up for his first email address in life, it just threw those numbers behind his name, because Jason Reeves is a pretty common name.
Right.
So, we looked at it. We just ran with it, 133art.
It has a nice ring to it.
It's very simple, man. It has a nice ring to it. Facebook, 133art.
Yes,
Look
sir.
me up on Facebook, and Twitter at 133art.
There it is, man. There it is. Well, bro, I Truly appreciate you coming on the show, man.
Man, I appreciate you having me,
I'd love to have
man.
you back.
Oh, absolutely, man. Absolutely.
Check in with you to see how the brand is coming along, and
man,
you got my support.
Yes, sir. Look for us in January. Like I said, we're going to be doing a Black Comics Convention. It's going to be the second annual one in San Francisco. It's going to be on Martin Luther King Day.
Let's go.
And then we're also going to be in New York. It's going to be the same venue, but I'm not sure of the dates. I don't think they've actually set the dates for New York. So we're going to be Martin Luther King Day,
yes, sir.
San Francisco. Black Comics Convention.
2017.
2017. We kicking it off right, man. Martin Luther King Day. That's where I'll be.
There it is. Well, as always, appreciate you guys for listening in. I'm Akili Shine. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Akili Shine, AKILISHINE.
Shine.
This is Geek Nerd Tech,
Yes,
and
sir.
we will see you next week. Enjoy your weekend.
All right, man. Appreciate you.
From executives Keven Undergaro, Dario Kristen, Tiana Hobson, and the entire BHL staff, we would like to thank you for supporting Black Hollywood Live, the first online broadcast network dedicated to African American entertainment. For questions and comments, contact us. info@blackhollywoodlive.com. Like us on Facebook, tweet us, or Instagram us at BHL Online. And I am the official voice of Black Hollywood Live, Scipio. Instagram me at KingXOBay. Thanks for tuning in.
Hollywood Redefined.
The views expressed here are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of BHL or its owners or principals.